Hey, welcome back to Gear Talk. I'm Wes Cash, and here at Gear Talk, we are connecting reliability professionals with reliable information. And today, I'm pretty excited because this may be the most well-known guest I may ever have on the podcast. And no stranger to reliability, we've got the one, the only Santa Claus with us.
Hi, Wes. It's lovely to see you.
Well, thanks for coming in. I'm sure that this is a busy time of year for you. So
it is a little bit chaotic. We're having a lot of fun at the North Pole. We're just now really getting into our big push and everything getting built.
I believe that. Now, part of this podcast, right? Yep. We want people to understand the individual, because we're connecting people here. So if you don't mind, maybe a little bit of background, a little bit of introduction on yourself.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I've been around about 1,750 something years.
Okay.
And
you look great for your age.
I do.
Yeah.
It's amazing the benefit of chocolate chip cookies.
I'll remember that one.
I've been around a long. I started off very early in my career. I ran across some elves that were really good to help me, and they made toys, and I like making toys. And most people know the story. I just started taking them out to the villages and the like, and one thing led to another, and it just went crazy.
I can imagine, right? So this is businesses have to scale. Manufacturing has to scale.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And of course, reliability ties in with this, right? So
it does.
When you're thinking about reliability and we think about North Pole and manufacturing, you've surely got challenge. I think the weather, right? That's going to be an issue.
Well, the biggest problem at the North Pole is temperature and cold.
Sure.
We're all kind of used to it, but we never realized how much it affects everything we do.
Right.
And as things scaled up, we needed to do a lot more. We weren't keeping up. I mean, our elves were perfect. They would start a toy, finish a toy, start a toy, finish a toy. And one of the elves mentioned to us there was a guy in North America who was starting to make cars.
Okay.
And he had come up with an assembly line process to make them. So
this is Henry Ford.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this was kind of one of his helpers. His name was Jerome.
Okay.
And he snuck us into the building, and we got to watch what they were doing and just loved the whole idea. Well, that meant that we could train elves to do a simpler task.
Yes.
But segment it into different little tasks. And with the conveyor coming through, our production went crazy.
So this is the mechanization of the North Pole here.
Absolutely.
We're now introducing conveyors, what we'd call an asset. You now have a physical asset here.
I mean, there's challenges in that. We ran into things about lubrication.
Yeah.
Because the conveyor, at first we had reindeer kind of pulling it along on wheels.
Okay.
But we have other better uses for the reindeer.
Sure.
And we couldn't figure out what we could use. And one of the elves was out foraging and helping the reindeer eat. He stepped up on some rocks, no reason, and he slipped faster than you can say, grease lightning. And we didn't understand. The rocks were covered with lichen.
Okay.
And that's usually abrasive and rough.
Right.
And the reindeer loved eating them.
Okay.
We didn't think much of it, but when they did eat them, they slobbered a lot.
Sure.
And apparently that's what he slipped on.
Okay.
And that slobber, I tell you, it was the most excellent grease. It worked really good. I mean, we stepped up a little later to a new use of product. We used the reindeer slobbers for a lot of things.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had to stop because we found out in some of the processes of building, we learned that you can't have too much glitter.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We thought the slobbers had failed.
Yeah.
And like you guys, you go out into somebody's troubles,
mm-hmm.
and it's not what you see in front of your face.
Right.
It's not that simple. And you got to look at it. It's not the product that might be failing. It wasn't the slobbers that failed. Glitter was getting into the slobbers.
The gearings and everything.
It was jamming it up.
Contamination is contamination, right? Whether it's glitter, whether it's dirt, I mean, all of that.
And you get away from the dolls, you get over to the cookie. We never used to have cookie eating zones.
Okay.
But we found out, too, the crumbs from eating cookies while you're working does the same thing as glitter. So we have little zones when one of the workers has to have a break.
Okay.
They go off into the little zone. They can eat all the cookies they want.
Yeah. Now we're not worried about the crumbs and everything.
Not worried about the crumbs. We have a little duster.
Yeah.
So before they walk into the area that we try to keep clean, we have a couple of elves with feather dusters.
Try to knock it all off.
Knock it all off.
Well, I go to a lot of food manufacturing facilities, and getting those crumbs and stuff, they can lead to microbial growth in oils and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously getting ahead of that makes a lot better. I'd hate to hear a listeria outbreak at the North Pole.
Well, yeah, but you'd be surprised with the cold temperatures and everything.
It knocks all that down.
And there are other benefits of reindeer slobber. You can put that. I mean, you thought WD-40 was cool.
Yeah.
You get you a can of reindeer slobbers, and you can take off.
That's
Evel Knievel would have made the Snake River.
Is that it?
He wouldn't have even needed a jet engine.
So obviously we've had breakdowns. We found contamination and everything else. I'm intrigued here because the big push in industry right now, automation's getting pulled into everything. So people are, bringing in robots to do things called cobots, where you work directly with the robot to do things. I mean, is that something that you guys explore? Is that something that you're even interested in?
We have these elf conferences yearly.
Okay.
And that way we can interact with each other and talk about things.
Yeah.
And there was a worry about automation at the North Pole.
People worried about jobs, I'm guessing?
Yeah, jobs, which is kind of odd because nobody's going to lose a job at the North Pole.
Right.
We have different places to use them.
Okay.
One of the best ways to have all our productivity high and our creativeness off the charts is keeping people happy.
You're right.
And we found that it's the mundane, in and out daily jobs that put a pretty good pinch on that creativity and that happiness.
We usually look dirty, dull, dangerous, right? That's perfect for automation.
It's absolutely perfect. Yeah. And they love the idea that they don't have to crawl under and grease this or sand that or do any of the mundane work. We love it when everybody's happy.
Sure.
And the happier they are, the more creative they are and helpful to each other. So some of our best changes in what we build and what we make at the North Pole has come out of that. I think there's too much worry about automation. I think it's a benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine one of the little boys I had that I brought gifts to became a garbage man.
Okay.
And he loved his work, but he got to do it so well because nobody else wanted to do it.
Right.
And it's jobs like that you'd hate if any of our elves want to do the mundane.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Let's have them do it.
The whole key is to find your happy.
Awesome. Well, hey, I'm getting told that we're running a little bit low on time. Now, I want to be a good host here. So kind of last words from Santa when it comes to reliability or anything that we've talked about here, what would you want people to take away?
That's a good question. Mostly, if you're going to think in terms of the way the North Pole thinks, don't think so much about you. Think about us. Think about the team. Think about where you're at. Don't be afraid to share an idea. Don't be afraid to reach out and help another. The bigger you can make your company, your people happy, the smoother everything will go. At the North Pole, we're all about being jolly, being joyful. Life has a lot of stresses, and I certainly understand. And I hope the little bit that I do Christmas Eve is enough to help you guys carry on.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, because I know you're in your busy season, so this was a little bit out of your schedule, but thanks for coming up. And for everyone tuning in, thank you for enjoying Gear Talk. As always, please like and subscribe. And if you have any topics or any suggestions, you can always email us at podcast@noria.com. So for Gear Talk Podcast, I'm Wes Cash, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Oh, it's not Christmas yet.